Schools are banning it. Universities are calling it fraud. And an existential threat. Some campuses have blocked it entirely. We're being told that artificial intelligence is making students lazy, that they're cheating. But I think they're looking at this the wrong way. The question isn't whether students should use AI. The question is whether we want students to have access to the most powerful learning tool ever created. You see, history says that we've seen this before. Every emerging major learning technology has been controversial. Books were once criticised because people would stop memorising. Closed institutions feared that access to printed books and widespread distribution would put knowledge in the hands of undisciplined people and allow religious or political ideas to run out of control. Within a short time, though, those very institutions that were most concerned became the biggest supporters. You see, they saw the possibility of allowing people to become more knowledgeable and realised that the gains far outweighed perceived drawbacks. And we're just talking about the printing press, mind you. In the same way, there was a time when it was thought that calculators would destroy mathematics, or that computers would stop people thinking, and even that the internet would stop people from researching. We've seen each of these things in a considerably more positive light since. Now it's AI's turn. It's true that the fear isn't completely irrational. After all, if a student asks AI to write an essay and submits it unchanged, they haven't learned anything. That's not education. That's called outsourcing. And it's not that different to copy-pasting something from Wikipedia, or worse, just getting someone else to write your essays for you. But the problem isn't AI. The problem is the belief that it can replace your thinking. Most people think of AI as just a search engine. You type in questions, it gives you an answer. Or others might see AI as a personal chatbot. Neither is wrong, but it's like saying that a car is only there to fill the space in your garage, or a book's purpose is to look impressive on a bookshelf. The most useful way to think about AI in education is as an infinitely patient tutor, expert in everything. A tutor doesn't do the work for you. A tutor helps you to understand the work and continues to work with you until you do. Let's see what that looks like with some examples. I'm going to use some actual AI output here to illustrate. To see how an AI tool might be able to be used in education and as a tutor rather than parrot an answer, let's take an example. In this case, rocket science.
How does a rocket get into orbit? Well, it requires a lot of speed.
Well, most people would stop here. That's the wrong way to learn. What are the various terms I would need to understand to get a basic understanding of orbits? What does the term orbit actually mean? And then you can continue to do this with other words that you might not be familiar with. Do you still feel a little bit fuzzy on the term orbit? Let's break that one down. Explain orbit to me like I'm 12 years old. Now let's link all of those terms together. How do they relate to each other? We can use a visual mind map or an image to do that. Now we're starting to understand the concept theoretically, but how does that relate to the real world? Well, ask this: can you explain gravity using a real world analogy? To clarify, you can get the visuals, draw a diagram. Next, can you give me sources for me to cross-check? Never trust a single source, whether you're using AI or any other research. Now we're going to see just how much we've learned. Ask the AI, test me. This is where AI becomes genuinely powerful. Most students never do this step. Then explain the parts to me that I'm still getting wrong. This is what a human tutor would do. The difference is that AI can do it with you at 11 o'clock at night for free and doesn't need to stop until you're satisfied that you understand it. Just like any education, it does require some discipline and perhaps even persistence, but there's no reason to give up. You just keep going back through these steps as I've laid out until you truly understand it. You just keep asking questions, keep getting answers, and keep working through it until you fully understand it. Many educators feel threatened by AI, and honestly, I understand why. For centuries, access to knowledge was scarce. As we discussed earlier with the printing press, teachers and educators became the bridge between information and students. But that's no longer the scarce resource. Information is in fact abundant. Understanding is scarce. Judgment is scarce. Critical thinking is scarce. And application is scarce. The role of education isn't becoming less important, it's becoming more important. When cars arrived, people worried about what would happen to horses and to the whole industry around that, stable workers, breeders, and so on. They were looking in the wrong place. Cars didn't make it disappear, they transformed it. You see, the people who earned their living around horses were then able to work in manufacturing, sales, repairs of cars, and so on. Many of those people who earned their living with and around horses were able to shift their skill set into the manufacturing of vehicles, sales, repairs, and so on, or perhaps into a completely different field, but the employment increased as access to cars became easier and easier. None of those jobs were even conceived of a decade earlier, and yet they were central to a whole new industry. AI won't eliminate learning. It will transform learning. To cite another example, when calculators first arrived, mathematics didn't disappear. The curriculum changed. Students spent less time doing arithmetic by hand, more time solving problems. Students who use AI to avoid learning will fall behind. And educators who refuse to allow students to correctly use AI will lose those students. In fact, students who use AI as a tutor will learn faster than any generation before them. The future isn't AI versus education. The future is education with AI. Educators have a responsibility. That means to help children from a young age to use AI responsibly, not to demonise it or ban it. And the sooner we learn how to use it properly, the more everyone wins. If you need help to implement AI correctly in your school or business, contact me. I'm a consultant specialising in AI implementation.